2021. We're going to be talking about CDL Modern Warfare Rostermania opinions. Since it's the first year franchise, we kind of want to talk about it, and we just think I recognized this early before we did continue with the show, noticing that there was an issue with audio. Forget to include the podcast audio, but that's okay. So let our guest introduce himself, and we'll get back with the mutex. We'll repeat the mutex thing again, then we'll kind of talk about the opening topic question.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tom. For some reason, the audio wasn't working, but it's fine now. So, the mutex situation, I think it's really a big part because it can kind of change rosters and that. So I feel like it's upsetting for him, as he did make a mistake. That you know, he's been told, you know, you have to leave because his professionalism wasn't up to standards, and they've decided to let him go. So yeah, I don't know. I think he can be a dark horse in the in this COD. I think if he gets a team and he tries to get where he is again, you know, it'd look good for him.
Again, I'm gonna probably add on to what we talked previously, but
Yeah.
I think one thing I kind of noticed is he hasn't had too many land. I think one thing that I didn't question why he got picked up. Yeah, I know he's popular in the search community. I think, but again, I don't think just, you know, it's a different situation. You know, you talk about Tiny. You know, same thing. Doesn't compete in a lot of events. Gets picked up as a substitute. You know, it was shocking to me that someone like they will pick up someone like him. Yeah, he's a big personality. He's competitive COD. He knows S&D, but I just
he's really good at S&D.
I think the thing is, you need to really have that lane I think a little bit more lane experience.
Yeah.
Even well, at least not like he barely competed in Black Ops 4. That was the thing. He competed a little bit in I think from World War 2.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he hasn't done a lot of competing. So he didn't do a lot of competing in Black Ops 4, which should question how good he could be. But again, on that situation, yeah, you know, he made a mistake. He trash talked too much. But I think just that after response where he's saying, "Oh, I'm better," you know, they made a mistake. I'm better than them. I'm the best. Like, you can't say that. Like, you're not the best. You know, you're not Crim6 who won 33 championships. You're not Karma who won 3 rings. You're not you know, you're not the best S&D. There's a lot more better S&D players than you. And that's kind of where
yeah, I guess. Sorry. Yeah, it's just because I do think his S&D style of play, the way he thinks, is similar to Karma, but I wouldn't say he's on Karma's like kind of level, as you know, Karma's won 3 things like he said, and he, you know, he's been to lands, he's won stuff, you know, that's a, you know, but he definitely does have good S&D type, you know, good movement and that for that, definitely, for sure. Just the way he plays the game, and he knows the game, you know, he's really good at that. And I won't fault him for his kind of the way he plays S&D. Onto Karma as well. Definitely Karma. Yeah. I think that his team, Karma, Karma's teaming with he's not with Empire Dallas, is he? Karma. That's Clayster.
We're not explore. Okay, we'll explain all the teams later. But that's Well, after we do them the time question, I'll explain every team in order. And
but definitely he's a good player. He's really like the grandfather of COD, I like to say, because you know he is the way he sees the game and that is just amazing. The way he plays and the way he just watches games play out and all his setups and that, he really is probably one of the best COD players to date right now.
Yeah, I'll probably guess. So opening top question. Before I checked that we were having audio issues. What do you think about COD franchising at the moment? On like, you know, getting into the franchising model on like League of Legends and with its org-based setup, and like Overwatch with kind of the city-based thing that COD is doing.
So you want me to talk about how I think that like League of Legends and COD
how franchise. You know, what do you think about COD franchising at the moment? I'm just kind of talking about like comparison. like how it's the franchise league.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't know. I feel like completely different games for a start. Definitely, League of Legends is different, but I don't. I feel like COD has done well for franchising wise. You know, they've had Black Ops. That's definitely a good little franchise there. COD Ghost was alright. I felt COD Ghost was a good game, but I feel like after Advanced Warfare, it kind of dipped a little. I feel like people started losing interest in the game and that kind of started losing its way. And then World War Two came out, and I felt like that kind of put hope back in it. And then this game's come out, and I would say this game, Modern Warfare, right now is half finished. I would say, I just think they've still got a lot of work to do on this game. But right now, it's looking good. Right now, it's definitely flourishing.
What I kind of think about it is, yeah, I think it's worth it. Because knowing, I think the reason, maybe a reason, Capcom went to franchising, I think, again, it's more stabilized. You know, you're guaranteed a contract. You know, you're guaranteed. You know, it's lifelong teams. You know, you get to. I know you're losing those legendary teams like Optic. You know, Optic Game. Well, not really. Optic Game and FaZe. Envy, like those household names. Well, they're a lot of those names are transferred into um the franchise COD League right now. Kind of, you know, Atlanta FaZe, Optic Gaming Los Angeles, but they're not, you know, they're not really the same kind of like, you know, FaZe, you know, whatever. But I think also you could remove a lot of those shady organizations that kind of joined in Black Ops 4. You know, you go to Accelerate, um, Denial, Red Reserve, Midnight. You gotta remove all those organizations on there just from having a chance to get into the league. You know, through those if they're if you know they did the same thing as last year. You know, Modern Warfare did not go into franchise. They did the PLQ again. You know, you could have those organizations screw up a lot of opportunities and all that. So, you know, I think that was kind of maybe a reason they kind of did that. Again, it's kind of one of the most shady.
Yeah, I feel like
you
it
go
was.
for one of the most.
Yeah, I feel like the
Continue,
reason why they've done that. I'm sorry for interrupting there. It's just because I feel like the reason why they've done that type of stuff, you know, switch the names, you know, new teams, new team, like new rosters and everything. I think it's just to try and switch up the game to make it like more, you know, exciting. Because you know, after a point, you know, you always see the same teams. You know, Optic, FaZe, you know, all the top, you know, as you said, stronghold teams. I'm gonna say for COD, you know, I feel like the reason why they've, you know, done all this is because they're trying to make the game more exciting to watch and enjoy again.
Yeah, especially maybe for having a home-to-home series. That's a big thing. Are you actually going to try to plan to go to the London? Well, wait, are you planning to go to
London one. Yeah, I'm buying a PS4 on the 7th. I'm going to put a team together. I've spoke to a couple of people, and I'm going to possibly try and get there myself and compete in it.
So Wham's there's no Path to Pro event there. Because they said some teams have it, some don't. Minnesota is the first location. That's when they allow Path to Pro teams. You know, you have those open bracket tournaments, but I don't know what cities will do that.
Yeah.
So we don't know if London's going to be in the mix.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for, then, yeah, definitely. But yeah, I don't know. Some dates are still like you know, no one knows. For some dates, what most of them are going to be, especially the big last one, the World League, you know, the finals, you know, the championship. That's unknown right now as we speak as well. So yeah, hopefully they do open, you know, that type of path for amateur gamers, because you know there's new people come and go, and I feel like if they didn't have these brackets, you know, and these, you know, open events for amateurs and semi-pros, and you know, to have a chance at even trying to get to the top, I feel like that's one of the best ways to go. You know, there is always online, but you know, there's different factors that involves online. You know, the connections, and you know, the just everything's different online to LAN. So I'm glad that they do that, and that's you know, definitely a good thing what they do. feel like for COD.
So that's nice. So we're gonna kind of talk about every roster on here. I'll list every starting roster and kind of talk about organizations. So first one is Atlanta FaZe. They are owned by Atlanta Esports Ventures, who own Atlanta Reign of the Overwatch League, and also FaZe Clan is also co-owning the organization too, as prominent with the name Atlanta FaZe. They didn't keep the same FaZe logo. They went with the A and F. So again, FaZe have more dynamic than what Optic has with the logos, which is fine. So the roster is, I'm gonna list them. So every player I'm gonna list is probably how I do in order is SMG players, flexes, and then main and ARs. That's kind of how I kind of organize it from there.
Yeah.
So first, Simp and Abizi as the subs, Major Maniac and Priesta as the flex players, and Celium as the main AR. What do you kind of think of this roster when you first heard about it or seen it?
When I first looked at it, these are young, new to the community. To be honest, I would say, there's a lot of. I wouldn't say new. I'd say, they're not veterans. We have the likes of Karma, Crimsix, Scump. We have very veteran people. Sorry, and I feel like this is going to be a dog horse team. To be honest, I feel like people are going to underestimate this team. But you have Priester, strong S&D player. He's got better at hardpoints. He's looking well at hardpoint as well. And then you have Simp, also a good S&D player, but also can play hardpoint as well. And then who else was there? There was Priester, Simp,
Celium, Major Maniac, and
Major Maniac. AR played him. I remember, when he first came up through Cloud9, Maniac. And I remember watching him, and he's progressed. I've watched him for a little while. He's doing really well. He looks good at hardpoint. His anchoring's getting better, as you can tell, through all his Twitch streams and all that. Been watching a little bit of him. Celium as well was another one who popped up. IW, Infinite Warfare, popped up as a sub player. He used to use the EGAD. He's solid there. He looked good in Black Ops 4 when he played for different teams as well. So I'm hoping for this team, because they're so undervalued. I think this team, because they haven't got that many tournaments under the belt. So I'm hoping that this team is a dark horse and manage to storm people, take people by surprise.
Actually, we'll also mention this. What is one strength of the roster and one weakness of the roster? We're gonna
say
describe the
S&D.
roster too.
Yeah, I say S&D is going to be definitely the strongest for this team. I feel like if they lose S&D, they got a big disadvantage. The hardpoint's, good, but the S&D is really good. That's their strong point in their team, I think. I feel anyway. I feel like FaZe had that about them, though. I feel like every FaZe roster has always had a strong S&D team. And stuff like that.
Not last year's with the FaZe clan. That was the worst game out. They did really good in respawns. FaZe clan was like one of the top respawn teams, and then that just went to hell when they went to search.
Yeah, I feel that too. I think actually AW for FaZe, they were actually a long time ago. Yeah, that's when they were really good at hardpoints, and respawn was looking good for them. But yeah, right now they're looking like a solid S&D team for sure.
Weakness?
Like I'm gonna say hardpoint, for the sheer fact that they're really good at S&D.
It doesn't have to be game. It doesn't have to be game mode based. It could be like, I'm not gonna list game you can put game mode based if you want to, but kind of like.
Yeah.
Could it be?
So could they even mention players? That could be a weakness for that team. I'm gonna say Celium. Celium could be a weakness for that team. I feel, he's good at his S&D and that, but I'm just not convinced on his other aspects of the game. I'll just have to wait and decide again, I guess. But right now, I feel like he's definitely a weakness for this team. Maybe he can step up and prove me wrong, which I hope. Yeah.
I think when talking about the FaZe roster, this is kind of a team that is gonna be aggressive. I think you're gonna look at, you got Simp, Abizi, Priester. They are really aggressive players. You look at Major Main. Well, you go to Celium. Celium could be I think you look at the roster. You're gonna look at maybe not Simp up easy and Priesthood being the weak players, but you're gonna probably look at guys like Celium, who is very, I'm just, I think really talented. I'm gonna go with obviously he kind of really has a lot of upside. Maybe you want to see a little more. We're gonna see how the AR role is gonna work for him. Kind of plays the main AR again. He has played Flex and main AR last year. I think. I think you got the slaying power. That's kind of the strength. But I think the weakness is kind of that veteran leadership, and also kind of deciding if this team is going to be dominant. I think Major Maniac is going to have to bring a bigger sling.
A lot to the table.
You talk about this team's sling.
Yeah.
I think you need a little more sling out of him, but I think that veteran leadership is going to be happening because again, there's a lot of young players, a lot of experience. Yeah, that SMD is going to be strong because a lot of them played a lot of SMDs back in the day, but. You're talking about that, veteran leadership, what happens when they're down. You haven't kind of no one leading that, so I think Major Maniac kind of seems like the oldest player in that team.
I feel the same about that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like if they want to start winning stuff and that, I do feel like he's gonna have to be that big leader in that team, and he's gonna, come on guys, let's do this, Just keep the hopes up, keep them going, get them rallied up for the games, and I do see that in him. Also, his anchoring in that, he's gonna be needed. He's gonna be really big for them, I think, this year, in his leadership and that. And I reckon he'll step up to it as well. So I'm really hoping for this team.
Again, maybe you can see guys like some kind of take that role too, especially kind of how he dominated the Black Ops 4 season. Maybe he can take that co-IGL role. That's not like common COD, like you're saying IGL, but again, that's I call it veteran leadership right there. Next roster will be. We're gonna kind of go for the top tier rosters first, since that's what ABT order. Chicago Huntsmen, Scump, Envoy as subs, former Gunless, Flex players, RC's main AR.
Yeah, this team, Chicago Huntsmen, Scump, really big name, really big name. Seen him a lot. Sub player, obviously you can see that happening. Let's Scump, really big name. Arcites, he's done well. He's done well in the past. He brought up with his brother. Pristini, who's another good player. But I feel like he could be the anchor for this team. I do see the veteran leadership in Scump. There's also Envoy, which I haven't watched much of. I don't know whether you have. Have you watched much of Envoy?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I haven't watched that much, so I couldn't really say that much about him, but I know the others a lot. But yeah, this could be a solid team as well, I feel. I don't know, because I can see it, but it's going to be a lot of hard work needed for this team, I feel. Scump is going to be the veteran and going to be the leader for this team, I feel. He's going to be doing well for that team. He's going to keep them high hopes and open for the wins. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about that team, really. There was...
Oh, sorry, continue.
Who else was there? There was Scump.
Scump, Envoy, Gunless, Formal.
Gunless, okay, Formal, big name also. He's won his IW championship. He's also got that veteran leadership in him. He's been around for a while as well. Maybe a co-owned by them too, leading for certain things, putting the ideas on the table, keeping the team going. And Gunless as well is another. I feel like he's just a dark horse playing in general. I feel he brings a lot to the team. He's a good sub player, but he was a good flex. He's a good flex as well. He can play AR if needed. He can watch the middle map. He can push stuff if he needs to. But yeah, I feel like this team's gonna be good. To be honest, I'd say top 6 for this team.
Ooh. You see a weakness in the roster?
I feel like if Formal. Actually, no. I feel if Arcites maybe doesn't pull his weight, I can see this team kind of dipping because he's the anchor for this team. But maybe with Formal, they're double anchoring. I don't know. I feel like Ozties will anchor, and I feel like Formal's gonna flex. Sounds a bit mad because I'm used to Formal usually anchoring and holding down the back spawn, but I can actually see Formal being a flex because I feel like Formal can trust Ozties to play that role. He probably trusts him to play the anchor while he goes about with maybe the sub player and hold hard points in there with the sub player or something. But yeah, I'm open for that if Ozties, keeps his game good, that this team will probably be really good.
I think this when I saw this, I think it's been leaked for. I think just kind of having that scum formal duo, T2P, that's very special. So they have that great chemistry already.
Yeah.
I think the strength of this roster is you have a lot of players who have proven themselves. I think a lot of high hopes. You got a lot of top tier players really. Envoy, even though you said Envoy being a mix, it doesn't fit that veteran leadership, that kind of old school style, that kind of what the roster is. You bring in someone who's really 18, 19 years old, and you got people like 23, 24. It's different. He's gonna have to kind of mature, which I don't think it should be an issue because you got those veteran leaderships right behind you. So I think kind of having that great background, great supporting cast really helps to kind of develop a player like Envoy, be that top sub, which he did last year with Midnight and Gen G.
Yeah.
I think the weakness of this roster is if Gunless does not have a meltdown again.
Yeah.
We've seen this twice already with E United, with contract issues and IW, and then you saw it again in Black Ops 4. Also, there was rumors that I think Slasher mentioned in a hot mic that Gunless did not like Slasher for the last part of World War II in that Rise Nation roster.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was another big thing.
Yeah.
If that's gonna be a big issue, we don't know what we can see coming into that. So Gunless just kind of has to keep its cool, making sure there's no turmoil. Make sure he doesn't try to force himself out. I think otherwise, I think the roster has a lot of upside in there.
Yeah.
Next roster is the Dallas Empire.
What I would like to add very quick to that is Gunless. I've seen a lot of them, you know what I mean? And there was a big thing I remember with FaZe, and I think it was E United, a big thing where
oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, where he was
Yeah,
he was messed about a bit. I feel like Gunless, but so was Clayster as well. I don't know whether it was Gunless wanted the team with certain people or Clayster just wanted to just leave and just play with this new team, try and get somewhere that way. But I feel like Gunless is definitely a person who causes a lot of controversy sometimes in certain teams to people he doesn't like, maybe, I don't know, or he just doesn't get along or bond with. I do see that a little bit, and I do agree with you actually on that. That Gunless sometimes, can let his emotions get the better of him. So I do think that's definitely something that could happen.
So next roster is Dallas Empire.
Well,
sub players should be Hook, Shotzi, Flex. I'm guessing it's gonna be Illy and I don't know if Illy's a sub or Flex. I'm gonna say Flex at the moment because I think I saw him running an AR. Flex, Illy and Clayster, and main AR Crimsix. What do you think about this roster?
I'm gonna say this is. I think these are gonna be. I think this is the winning team. I think this is it. I think this is gonna be the team that's really gonna dominate this scene. You have your leadership from Clayster and Crimsix, really, really big names, won major stuff. They flourish. This is their thing. This is second nature to them. This is this is the thrive in this type of environment. This is their thing. And then you have Hugh as well, Halo player, came from Halo. Proving himself, I think, felt like he's proved himself a lot. I think he's kind of the dark horse for this team. I think if he can really pull himself together, he can really help this team a lot. And the flex was...
Illy.
He was the flex that was running the Illy. Big S&D star back in BO4 and World War II, big S&D star. But I feel like he's polished on his hardpoint as well, and that, you know, he's a good player all around. I feel he's a good. I reckon he'd be a good flex. He'd be able to switch it up if needed help at the front, if he needs help at the back. I feel like he's the man for you to help out. You know, it's looking good, this team, and I'm expecting a lot from this team. I feel like this team will win it.
What do you think about Shotzi? That's the because I think that's gonna be the I think
that's
one
the
of
weakness.
I kind.
Yeah.
Well, I
Agreed
don't know.
with you
That's
completely.
like, yeah. Again, he's a Halo player, world champion. How do you think he's
Yeah.
gonna kind of play this guy? Especially he only has one lane appearance, which was kind of a botch one.
Exactly. So we, you could even say he could be a dark horse. You don't know, like, but behind the scenes, he's been working hard. He's been trying to, get better at this game. We don't know, but this is going to be really interesting, to be honest, to see. Obviously, if Crimsix and Clayster feel like he's good enough, he's staying there. He's there, so he must be good. I'm expecting a lot from the team though this year.
Especially yet, I think the strangest roster yet. This is the clear-cut top team. They won a lot online already. They have that veteran leadership. They have a lot of power. I think it's just kind of the leadership is the big thing, and they kind of have that set tone. They're very critique. I'm guessing if you have Crimson and Clayster as leaders, you kind of listen to them, and that's gonna be great for kind of these youngsters like Hook, Illy and Shotzi. The weakness of this roster is kind of the big development of the land stage for Illy and Shotzi. They're gonna head into Minnesota. I don't know how many matches they're playing. I'm guessing once or twice. I don't know how many series they're playing at that Minnesota event, but you're gonna see how they perform in land for the big time. Again, Illy kind of competed at locals. Shotzi only competed at one land, that was Miami, but again, it was a top 48 finish. Again, it was just pickup team with Fair at the time, just kind of ton of SMD stars on that team, from what he knows. So that's gonna be the big thing. If you can see a little bit of a struggle from them on land, that's gonna be it. Again, Illy's considered an online warrior. He competes a lot online. That's kind of how he got recognized. Again, with Saming is kind of like selling him simp a little bit.
Yeah.
So
big S&D stars though.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where they were found.
Strain.
Yeah.
You got a lot of S&D players on that team.
Stuff. Yeah.
Also, just kind of seeing how Shotzi plays. It's gonna be interesting. Again, it's first year, gonna be his first official year competitive COD. After transitioning from Halo as a world champion, so that's gonna be a big thing we have to see there. Can he play or not?
Yeah. Definitely.
Next roster will be Florida Mutineers. I'm gonna guess this is gonna, from what it's been leaked on the Mutineers Twitter with the images and like the quotes they said, this is gonna be probably the roster again. So I'm guessing subs, having a Pastini. I don't know if he's gonna run a sub or flex. I'm just gonna put him as a sub now because of previous roles. Flex is gonna be Skies and Frosty, and then Mox is gonna be the main AR. Again, there could be a switch between Mox and
Frosty.
I'm probably not gonna guess. Oh no, not Frosty. Well, not Frosty. I'm gonna probably say Skies right there with the main AR role. What do you think about this roster? As this is the only roster that hasn't been
announced
revealed officially.
Yeah. It's interesting because like I see a leadership already. I can see Marks, in that leadership role. Can even flex as a main AR as well. Can even be the main AR for this team, possibly. Frosty, I haven't seen much of Frosty or Scars. I think you said I haven't seen that much of them, but I definitely know Marks is probably a safe bet at being a good main AR. Also with that, definitely got a lot of good S&D wins underneath his belt and that. He's good at the main AR role, anchoring at the back and hardpoint and that. But yeah, I don't know. This team, I don't think this team will get top 6 personally. I just can't see it happening. I just don't. You have the one leadership, but I don't know who's going to be throwing the ideas. I don't know who the sub player is. It just looks a bit like
Havoc.
No one
knows.
knows.
It's Havoc. Havoc and
did as well, yeah. Havoc's definitely a good AR as well. I've seen him. he used to thrive.
time
You know,
ago.
he's really good on Black Ops 3. Really good on Black Ops 3. He's a good player. But I haven't seen much of Havoc either.
That we just talked about Havoc.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I haven't seen him that much of him, like, in like the
Recently?
what's it called? Yeah, recently, yeah, Twitch streaming and that.
I think this roster, I think the upside is you kind of have developed. I think you have up and coming players. I think, you know, players who have competed for that whole year, last year, especially. I think Skies is one of those players who could be an underrated player, with that roster.
Yeah.
I think he's a very talented AR. I saw that last year out of him. Again, he hadn't played with good rosters that whole year. Again, he got dropped from UYU because he wasn't playing good. He got picked up by Accelerate, which people question. He just got dropped by UYU, which is probably like not a great team already. Now you get picked up by Accelerate, then he showed up on Accelerate, and once they got transferred to Elevate, you know, with the roster, he made a big impression there, which got him picked up by Luminosity. So I think there's a lot of upside coming in from him, being that new good player on the block who can really develop into a top 5, top 10 main AR slash flex. I'll probably say top 5 because you know you're gonna have 12 of those, but that's where I think that's gonna be a lot of strength is kind of developing his players. Same as Frosty. Frosty kind of showed up with that Midnight roster last year. So he's growing into the COD scene even after being, you know, switching from Halo. Christini, he looked a lot better with that flex role. I don't know what they're gonna try to do with that. Maybe they're just gonna run free flexes one sub, or you're just gonna put Christini back to the sub. Again, we don't know what's gonna happen. We'll see at the first event. But I think he's kind of that veteran leadership guy. Also with Mox, again, both players, I think there's a lot of experience. Havoc, really good sub. You know, did a lot of the dirty work. For Gen G last year. I think the weakness of this roster is kind of the slang power. I think the slang power, that's going to be the weakness.
Yeah, I see, because Havoc, you know, I've seen him as a main AR, and he's really good at it as a main AR, you know, anchoring that. And seeing him in that sub role as well, he's good as well, so I feel like he's a good flex, and maybe you give that main AR role to maybe Skies or Frosty, as you said, or whatever. Might be a good idea. As you said,
so
though,
you
as well.
Mox off then?
See, I don't know,
So
though,
Mox
there's
is not gonna be
Mox as
main
well. Yeah, exactly, see. There's at least 3 different players in this team that are really good main AR players. But, you know, Havoc is a sub player right now. Yeah, exactly. The heavy maps, like, you know, Arc Love, Peak, Hardpoint, you know, 3 main ARs, maybe, I don't know.
Again, that weakness is just kind of that slaying power that, you know, they don't have a lot of slaying players that you kind of recognize on there. Yeah, maybe you go to last year, maybe Skies and Havoc, but again, Mox kind of played a little bit of a slow role. Yeah, he can, you know, he had a good KD. You know, he did a lot with that main air role. Sorry, the backroom's going off right now. But do you hear it in the background? Again, that's just kind of weakness right there. Next roster will be London Royal Ravens. This is your team. Jerd and Dylan as the sub players, Scraps and Ruskins as the flexes, rated as the main AR.
I feel about this team, there's already good chemistry. Already. You know, you see Wuskins and Scraps, was it, yeah? Wuskins and Scraps, the duo. Brothers.
That's it.
Yeah, that's already good. There, you got a good chemistry there, a good little balance. And you also had, what's his name? I forgot his name.
Dylan.
Yeah, you have Dylan and Jade as well. You know, we've seen him in the past, you know, do really good. Jade played for Splice, if you remember, Black Ops 3, you know, way back then, does well. He's got a good, he's just an all-round good player, to be honest. He can play as a flex. He is the flex, isn't he, for this team?
No, he's a sub. He usually plays as a
sub. I've seen him play as a flex anyway on his stuff. He does a really good flex job, so I don't know, there's another team where it's like, you have so many of like positions where like every player for this team can actually take that role up and do a good job in it as well. You know, Wuskin's good AR player, and your Scraps as well. So I don't know. What do you feel about that?
I think this again. The chemistry is a big thing. Again, Dylan, Ruskins, and Scraps have been hanging out. They really like each other.
Yeah.
Again, Jordan Reid. I don't think Jordan Reid have any bad blood or something like that. Jordan, a little more quiet player overall. You know, I think the weakness of this roster. I think this roster has a lot of potential. There's a lot of slaying power. You got a decent. I'm not gonna say. You know, you got Jared, Dylan, and Scraps. They are really slaying players. I think the big thing is Ruskins is gonna have to have a better. He's gonna have to do better than what the end of Black Ops 4 looked like, because I think end of Black Ops 4 he didn't look really that great, and maybe some people question why he did not get dropped from Reciprocity instead of Shawnee at one point. Near the end of the season.
Yeah.
And also kind of rated. Can he show up like the World War II rated? Again, this is a slower game. Is in fact, you know, this is a lot more slower game, so this could work for rated, who is a lot more. He prefers that slow arrow. You know, can we see that World War II rated? That's gonna be the big thing. But I think again, this could be a really top tier team if again they do, you know, they click. This could be like a top 3 or top 4.
Yeah.
Next roster is Los Angeles Guerrillas, Decimate and Saints as the subs, Aqua and Lacefield as the flexes, and Aches as the main AR.
This one.
Aches could run a flex. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah. This is this team. I don't want to say it's an. I don't know. I don't want to say it's not going to be great. I feel like this team. They're not bad, but I don't feel like they're going to be at that point where they're a top tier team, you know what I mean? I can kind of see leadership, you know, through Aches and that. I can see him taking that role, and as you said, you know, you've seen him play as a flex and that sometimes. And, you know, he looks like you know, he's got a little team going, hasn't he? He's got Decimate, we've seen him before in the past, you know, really good slaying power, I feel, from him. I've seen him really go off on some maps and that. So I feel like that's a good pick up there. And you had what's his name?
Aqua, Lacefield, and
Saints.
I
feel like this is the weakness of the team. I am gonna say that. Saints, I've seen him do poorly through Twitch streams, you know, in that tournament as well. And through the 2Ks and that, he's just really looking poor. I don't know what's gonna happen there, to be honest. You know, do you keep him, or do you keep him and hope he improves? Or do you drop him and try and find someone else? Lacefield as well, I think you said he's in that team. You know, he's a really good AR player. I feel like if Saints and Lacefield pull the weight, I feel like they're both the same. I feel like if they both pull their weight for this team, I feel like this team could be good. You know, Aches is there, and you know, Aqua, you said. I feel like this team will be good if them two players pulled the weight together. I can see it.
I think again you have a lot. I don't know. This is a roster I have a hard time really coming up with a strength with. I think again you have kind of, this is like the bad boys crew. This is kind of what I consider like the baddest of the baddest, the trash talkers. I don't know why. I just kind of think of Saints, Lacefield, and Ace just kind of snap.
There's no Parasite there though, is there?
So they have a lot. That's a team that's very energized. Kind of even, you know. But again, Ace leadership. That's a big thing. I don't know. I just still don't trust. You know, you consider Ace like a leader, but I just can't see that from. I don't know. Again, that's the only thing I kind of have with the positives on that. It's just kind of where.
Yeah, I see Lacefield.
You know,
not Lacefield. I feel Aches is a good leader. You know, he's been to big events. You know, he's played with some of the best players in the world. You know, I can really see the leadership, the veteran. You know, pulling through. But
I don't know. I just can't really see it.
Yeah.
Again, you know, he did win a championship in World War II, and you know maybe that's where you can see it. Yeah, that's great. But I don't know. I just can't really see it. Just kind of taking it fully. Also, one more thing. I think just again, this team doesn't really have a lot of slaying power. I think Decimate. I think maybe you can see Decimate. Saints is gonna have to kind of improve a lot. I think Saints really did not have a great year overall.
Yeah, definitely.
Black Ops 4. That was, he had some monster performance. He's just like an on and off switch. Like, can he go off? He goes off. That's great. If he's just stuck. It's detrimental. Especially as kind of a sub player, so that's gonna be a big thing you have to see from him, just kind of improving. I don't know. The slaying power is not there. That's just the slaying power and just kind of the consistency there. Decimate, one of those players, who
Really aggressive player.
I haven't seen enough of. He's I think he's the best player in the team, but if that's your best player at that moment, I don't have a lot of hope.
Yeah, I don't think it's a top tier team.
I don't want to say that. Yeah, I just can't. I don't know. I just can't see this team kind of getting. I just like a bottom 4 team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't really see it coming from them. So next one, we're gonna talk the other Los Angeles team, but we're just kind of.
What I will say about that team is Saints and Decimate. Definitely. I feel like there's a chance if both them players, Decimate slaying. You'll have to play outstanding to get close. I feel like to the top tier. If I see him play this year, slaying, putting good numbers up there and that. I feel like there will be hope in this team, but Saints is gonna have to do a better job if he wants this team to thrive.
So next roster is Minnesota RØKKR. I don't know how you pronounce it. So, Asim and Alex as the subs, GodderX and Silly as the flex. I'm guessing Assault is going to be main error, as it's kind of been common from him. What do you think? This is one of the first teams ever announced a decision when they announced Silly, Assault, and GodderX. So, what do you think about this roster?
Silly is I feel like a big name for this team. But I've also heard his listenings and that in the past in other teams and that, and I can see him being the leader for this team. He's going to be the one. I feel that's going to make this team really, really try. Bringing the hopes up, getting them going. Giving them the energy. He's a really good S&D analysis. It's a bit like a Mutex. He can read the game like a Karma. He can read how to play it, how the team should go about it. If the team should rotate back to A, rotate back to B. I can see that in him. The weakness I feel is probably going to be Silly at hardpoint. Sometimes, he can do abysmal numbers in the hardpoints. Struggle sometimes even in any respawn. He struggles sometimes. That's when I'm hoping your likes of what was the other two? I can't believe I just forgot his name.
Alex, Asim, GodderX or Assault.
And Assault, yeah, Assault. That's where Assault and the other one has just got to, put the numbers up. Maybe help him out. Get him, up there. Get him killing numbers up. And I feel like this team can be solid. Can be a really good team. I wouldn't say top 3. I'd say top 6. Top 6 team. Not worse than Saints, Eggs, and I don't think I do see it. I see leadership. I see the kills can come in here. But yeah, that's really it.
I think I got this team as top 8. We're gonna do power
We've been
rankings
too generous.
Later, so actually, we're gonna do power rankings later, so you can rank the worst to best teams. So we don't have to kind of say they're top 6 or top 8 right now. But
yeah, okay.
I think the strength of this roster is you got really high ceiling players who can develop. GodderX looked like a really beast last year. For Enigma 6, after kind of being doubted a lot of times, questioning, GodderX, he's coming to the mix. He's a really good flex player. Switching from a sub role past and like World War II and IW and all that, going into that role, I think, he's a high ceiling player. I think that's gonna be a big thing. Asim was really known for his grapple play. Last year with the FaZe roster. Alex a little bit kind of same thing too. Kind of more of he can run the flex too, but I think he's gonna be a sub. I think I think the big thing you have to look at this roster is I can't see the veteran leadership in it. I just can't. I think just the team's a little bit too quiet. I feel like all those players are kind of really quiet and not really heavy voice. And also kind of the sub. I'm still not impressed with Alex.
Yeah.
He's there's just inconsistencies. So I think considering I think he was really I think he's a good player, but I think Alex just if Alex can pick up his pace a little bit. Asim is gonna kind of need more of that slaying power as a sub again. Kind of did not always have a positive KD in those hard points, and I don't think it was really impressive search and destroy player. But again, if that could be a lot of improvements coming on there. Assault is gonna have to kind of play like his World War II Assault at COD Champs. He did not have a really great year that I was expecting coming in from switching from EG to Envy and all that. Did not have a really great year off that. Black Ops 4. And I think again Silly, I don't know. Again Silly's not a really hard slaying player. I don't know. It's just I'm not like they have slaying power. They have players who can probably slay, but it's just kind of that leadership role, that experience. Again, you got three new. Again, you got Godorax, Alex, and Asim. They're pretty new players. Some of them come over to started for Alex, and then Black Ops 4 started for Asim, and Godorax kind of has the Pro League. I don't know. I'm just not impressed with it. I don't know. I think this team has a lot of potential. I think they really have. I feel like this team has good chemistry. They have a coach already. They're one of the few teams that have a coach, so they probably helping them out already. They have a lot of supporting cast. They also, I think, one thing that is really good about the roster is they have substitutes that are really useful. Who
are the substitutes for that team?
Tiny and Exceed. Exceed is a pretty recently new player. He kind of came up at the end of Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
And Tiny is he's a sub player.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a S&D player. Why am I saying sub? Yeah, he's already a sub substitute player. But I think that's they have players who can rotate in between matches. So just say you have two people struggling on. I think one thing that's interesting is kind of seeing how the team uses the substitutes. Again, I noticed in online tournaments they use Tiny and Exceed for S&D tournaments, whatever CMG, UMGs, and all that. So I feel like that team is going to kind of use those mid-match substitutions, mid-series substitutions onto the search. So again, what do you? We're actually going to talk about that. What do you kind of think about the mid-map substitutions probably coming into place?
How's it gonna work? I don't know how it's gonna work. Are they just gonna?
So basically, let's have them kind of explain it over here. Yeah. Oh, damn, the vacuum came online, but that's okay. So basically, you just say the first hard point, it's your starting 5 roster, and then maybe in S&D, you probably want to switch out one of your worst S&D players, with someone on your bench, like on your substitute. So they'll show up in tournaments. So maybe they want something like that. That's kind of how they're planning to do it. So you can switch them out mid-game, so you don't have to have that same starting 5 for the whole series.
Yeah.
And then you can switch them out. Then you can take them out once you maybe go back to Dom or something like that. Like maybe you go to Dom or something like that. Then you put them back in for a game of 5 S&D if that gets that case. Or you can put them any time in the series. Just don't switch them out mid-map. I don't think that's possible, but that's kind of how it's planning to work and all that.
It's gonna definitely change the game. I feel like S&D games and hardpoints are gonna be closer because there's definitely specific players that are definitely better at different game modes to each other. So I definitely think all the games are gonna be a lot more closer because there's gonna be a full 5-man that literally know what they're doing on S&D and enjoy playing it. And I feel like it's gonna be game changing, to be honest. It's evolution, to be honest. It's definitely a game changer for that, having the substitutes.
Next roster is going to be Optic in Los Angeles. Again, it's not the same Optic Gaming that people love. But
yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, it's alright. I forgot one more roster. Let's not.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. I forgot there's a team. all the way up in beautiful New York Subliners. The roster is, I'm probably guessing, Temp and Zoomer as the subs. Attach and Zero as the flexes. I don't know how the flex is gonna roll because you got Zero and accuracy is that, but accuracy is probably the main AR. What do you think about this roster?
I feel
again there could be a switch. Oh, sorry. Let me explain. There could be a switch between Temp and I'm probably gonna say Temp and Zero for the sub spots.
Zero.
Like the sub and flex spots. So, what do you think about this roster overall?
This is a definitely an interesting team because we have accuracy, good AR player. You know, I think my most memorable with him is probably World War II when he played for Envy, I think it was. And
sorry, Caliber.
Team Caliber, yeah, that was it.
You got the wrong
I always
blue
get mixed
team.
up. Yeah. Team Caliber when he was playing with Hugh and Apathy and all that. Jacob, I think.
That's not the right.
No,
roster,
I've got that. I've mixed up again.
Oh no,
Chino and that.
Yeah.
I mean, no, yeah, it's Chino and that, yeah, isn't it? Back then.
Chino, Kenny, and basically
Kenny,
Arrow or Deary.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. And we seen, you know, accuracy was really monster at that game, you know, playing the AR. So I think Slasher for that team as well at one point or not?
No, he part of Envy at the start of the season, but again, he never played with accuracy for the whole season.
Yeah, but so yeah, I feel like accuracy is definitely a good main AR player. I reckon they should keep him there anyway as the main AR. Because I've seen Attach also play. You know, Attach is a good player. You know, S&D won it back in AW. You know, he's won stuff. It's a mad one for Attach because, you know, I've watched him from a young age. You know, grow into who he is right now, and I feel like he's done well. He's doing well. He's found a good team, and I feel like him in that flex role is definitely a good idea. I feel because he can play sub. We've seen him play sub in the past, and he can also play AR as well. So that's definitely going to be interesting. Hopefully he's been doing good. And who else was there? We had Attach. We had accuracy.
Zuma, Temp, and Zero.
Zuma's another one. You know, great chemistry with Attach. You know, he's been played with him FaZe, and yeah, both definitely good chemistry. Also, a good sub player as well. Really good sub player. Seen him in the past. You know, run the sub. So I'm expecting good things from him. Also a leader as well, to be honest. In Zuma, you know, he's called shots before in the past for FaZe as the S&D player. Also good at hardpoint. He's a really strong hardpoint player, hardpoint sub player. Sometimes, you know, he has his games where, you know, he's not slaying, but he's still getting kills, and you know, he's still getting through the game. Good, but I feel like if this team wants to push, I do feel like Zuma's gonna have to really put numbers up every game more or less if he wants to compete with all these top teams. And am I missing anyone? Yeah, especially.
Temp and Zero.
Temp in the past, you know, also been good. Yeah, I don't know, you know. I don't know. I'm stuck between them two. Who do you put? What do you think? Who do you put there? Who do you put as that last decisive person? That actually, you feel like
you don't have to talk about the players, like what roles they can fit. Since you kind of mentioned, like, you just talk about like how the team, like, what do you think about the team overall? You don't have to worry about what roles they play. I just kind of mentioned the roles.
Yeah, I do as well, just to because that I feel like that decides the team. I feel like that's what makes a team go. But I do think this team's gonna do well this season. Feel like it's a strong team.
I think the good thing about this team is you got that strong team chemistry. Again, you this is what people call the friendship team, because accuracy and Attach they're friends with each other. Same thing as Attach and Zuma. You know, Zero and Zuma teamed in Black Ops 4. Temp teamed with accuracy in Black Ops 4. So there's a lot of connections between this team. So I think they're really friends with each other. You know, maybe they're gonna be more critique as you kind of talk about this is more serious this year, but I just can't see the roster failing too much.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. This is kind of a hard roster to kind of think of a weakness for.
Yeah, they're all
because
strong players, so.
yeah, I think just kind of talking about the roles, we don't know what the sub is gonna roll. I don't know what Temp is gonna. I think I consider Temp more of a sub player than kind of doing it with Zero, but I think just kind of seeing how it goes. I don't know. I
You can
think it's
also
just kind
see
of more
Attach and Zoom at the
making
sub as
sure
well,
they
though.
don't get. I don't know. I think just kind of the thing. I'm trying to think what is like could be a weakness. I think a weakness could be the roster is just trying not to let egos get on their nerves. Again, there's a lot of players who are really Temp and Zero really Temp is like make sure Temp is kind of keeping us cool even with Steam Struggle because I think one make sure everything works and also one thing I'm gonna mention is the sub players are not the best. What do you think substitute players are not the best? Again also you don't know who's gonna be that other sub, so it's kind of uncertainty right there. But what do you kind of think about Sensor joining as a substitute for those subliners?
Since I don't know, he's he's in the past he's took time off before and that, and I feel like when he done that, I don't feel like he's been at his best since. Really, I haven't really seen him. I've seen some good games from him sometimes, but I feel like since he took that break from competitive and that, I just don't feel like it's the same person. But
So,
I want him to.
return in Roar too
Yeah, exactly.
for a
So
little bit.
yeah, so I don't know. He's kind of on and off, isn't he, with the whole competitive scene? But
Yeah.
hopefully he can do some good things this with this team.
Do you think he's gonna have you think he's gonna have a lot of playing opportunities, or he's just gonna
Um,
like
I think
he's gonna have lot of playing opportunities than like other subs?
yeah.
Maybe
I don't
compared
know.
to the Minnesota one.
I don't think he's gonna have a lot of choices. I do think where he is gonna turn up is probably his S&D. Feel like that's his strongest game, so they might try and switch him on for S&D.
I can't really see him as a Slayer. I think from watching
Yeah.
War 2, he wasn't really putting up high numbers. I mean, like Hardpoint, maybe down. I don't know. I just can't really see him as Slayer. I think S&D is going to kind of work for him. But again, that's a hard team to kind of switch up S&D players on. I think if you're going to switch up S&D players on that other team, I think you switch off Zero.
Yeah.
If that was going to be the case, if you're going to put Sensor in, I think Zero. I think you have a strong S&D core already again. You got Accuracy, who's known for his ice in his veins. Zoom and attach again. I think just Zero's gonna. If you're gonna switch off a player for S&D, if you want to put him in, I think that it has to be Zero for Sensor to get in.
I agree completely with that. I feel both of them.
Yeah.
S&D.
So next one is Optic Gaming Los Angeles, TJ, and Kenny as the subs. I don't know if Kenny's gonna run flex, but I'm just gonna probably guess because of previous roles. Slasher and Dashy as the flexes and JCap as the main AR. Again, there could be a switch between Slasher and JCap, but what do you think about this roster overall?
I'm actually expecting this roster to possibly compete and win, to be honest, this team. I'm expecting this team to try and win tournaments. Maybe, upset Dallas, which I think is going to be a team that will win. Because, you have Slasher, known for his AR role. He can even flex as well. He flexes a bit. But definitely his AR role, his passion for the game, you can really see it when he plays, and when he gets frustrated when losing and that, you can really see, he's got a passion for this game. He wants to win. He wants to win everything. So I do see him being the leading role, maybe J-Cap as well, I think he's got 2 rings, hasn't he, underneath his belt?
Yeah.
So, there's another big name there, leading the charge as well. Maybe them two can... Plus, these are both teams, haven't they, in the past? I think these are both teams in the past, haven't they? I always get mixed up, man, with Team Caliber and MB.
Yeah, they won a championship together.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Won a championship together.
When they played for MB. So,
yeah,
they have that chemistry as well, them two. So you got 2 veterans there who have that kind of chemistry and quality of gameplay as well. Sometimes J-Cap, can drop it a little, drop his tempo a little when he's playing. But other than that, I feel like this team is probably one of the strongest teams even to compete against Dallas, which I really hope they do. you have TJ Halley as well. You know, another good S&D player. You know, he's put big numbers up in S&D. So you know, he's good at his hardpoint as well. But I really think his S&D is what's gonna kind of carry him into this team. Who else have we got?
Dashi and
Dashi and Kenny. Wow, these are two sub players, aren't they?
No, Dashi's more of a flex.
Oh, well, I've seen him rock subs before. I've definitely Kenny. You know, we seen him in World War II when he played for teams. He was really good. Black Ops 4, he looks solid as well. So yeah, I'm hoping this team is
solid.
Yeah. I feel like that's the start for everyone. You know, it takes you a while, but some people can get get used to the game quicker than others. But yeah, I'm actually hoping this team can actually win something this year. This team looks quite solid, and I reckon they will win something.
I think I feel like you have all the talent in the world. JCap might be the slow piece, but you have players who are really talented. Dashi, again, one of the top players last year. I think considered I'm probably guessing top 3. Maybe the second best, right behind Simp. You know, you got TJ, who's really good sub. Again, really good S&D. I think, you know, Slasher, you know, he's very consistent. He's very good. He has at least role. He does good in every game. That's impressive. You know, he's always a top AR in every game. That's great. JCap struggled a little last year, but again, he's the leadership role. I'm not gonna expect him to slay that much. I'm not expecting him. I'm just kind of maybe just expect him to just put his part in. But I can't see him as like the vocal voice. I gotta see like Slashers. I think Slashers kind of more the vocal voice.
I agree with that.
I think JCap's just like a nice piece you have on your team. And then Kenny, a lot of upside for him. I think again, if this is a game again, he dominated World War II. This is a slow game. I don't know if it's gonna play that much of a factor. Again, it's a totally different COD, totally different system. But if that again, that plays a big effect right there. I think the weaknesses of the roster is I think you have a lot of egos with it. I think there was a lot of complaints that Dashi was having problems with the team. Kind of, you know, he was having ego problems. He wanted to get traded from. He wanted to go to Optic. He wanted to go to Chicago actually, but he signed his contract already. For season start. When he did it, so he couldn't get back out of it. Also, I think, you know, Slasher, he can get too heavy. He's a well hard play, but if this turns out to be really bad, like the situation turns out to be really bad, where there's a lot of fighting and all that, that's gonna be detrimental.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's, I think, just kind of making sure you keep your attitude good. But I think this team has a lot of potential. Even I think they've been struggling in scrims a lot. Again, that's kind of similar to Slasher's team last year, where they kind of struggled at scrims. But I think, you know, this team, they're good at the, you know, they're good at the end of the year. They're great players at the end of the year. So they turn in. So I think that's where you gotta have it. And Dashi, I think the big thing you have to look at is Dashi needs to be that same player in Black Ops 4. If that does not happen, or that does not happen to a full scale, you know, I'm fine. You know, Kenny struggles a little bit. I'm fine with that. But I think if you need to have Dashi turn up a lot, otherwise there is gonna be a lot of problems. You know, you can expect Slasher to carry it, but it just I don't know. I think just the team bonding and chemistry, that's going to be the big thing I have to look out for. Make sure everything stays cool, otherwise this roster is nowhere going to be near the top half. Or even top 3.
I do see this team being a top team. I feel that the weakness is going to be JCap, solely because sometimes, you know, like you said yourself, he can't put numbers up sometimes. Sometimes he struggles through games. And I feel like if someone else is struggling, then, you know, JCap can't be that player, you know, to you know, put numbers up, unless, you know, he really does one time. But it's very rare that we see, you know, him put numbers up. Like you said, you don't expect it from, you expect Slasher to, you know, kind of carry that team through his killing, you know, He's very just kills everything slasher really. That's just the best to say about him. So yeah, I do feel Jacob's the weakness in this team. And the
Next
chemistry
team is
as well.
gonna be Paris. Yeah. Next team is gonna be Paris Legion. Again, this is the only team that I think doesn't have a starting roster. Again, we don't know their starting roster. We don't know what the day running roster is. But I'm gonna list all the players. I'm gonna list my starting roster. And I'm gonna list the 2 substitutes on the team. Again, you can switch these players out if you want to. You can switch out who will be in the starting roster or not. So Zed, Rezi as the subs. Dens and Shocks as the flexes, and Phantoms as the main ARs. Kismet is a sub player, and same Luca is I'm guessing a sub player too. As my substitutes. So I don't know if you're gonna make any changes to that, and what do you think about the roster?
Currently, I don't know what free agents there is out. So I don't know who's free right now to even change the roster. What I will say about that roster is, Shocks, really good player. I agree with that. I think, he should be a first team player. I feel like, in the past, he's done good. And I hope he can keep that up. Because I reckon that team would actually do really well, to be honest. I don't know whether it would beat Dallas and them, like the teams, the top tiers. But I do feel like, that team would be good, to be honest.
Yeah, I think just kind of
The
seeing how it
weakness.
goes. I think. Oh, sorry.
I don't know about the weakness. Um,
It's what? It's
yeah,
I don't know.
I can't remember who the people were.
Yeah, it's just a lot of kind of coming back into the scene phases and kind of.
Yeah.
I think just kind of the strength of this. I think the again this is a roster with I think one of the greatest uprising of players ever in Phantoms. I think that's where you look at that. He's not gonna. I'm guessing he's gonna play a flex or main AR. I think it's more of a main AR role player, but he's gonna be one of those pieces that I think is gonna carry this team. I think Brezzy with that French nationality, he's gonna bring a lot more pride into it. Same thing as that. I think 2 players who, I think Brezzy really showed up at the end of the year. He's a really good sub player, really underrated. Zed again, he wasn't Alex. He wasn't Alex of the sub. Dylan took a lot of the spotlight and reciprocity, but I think the start of the year Zed looked really good.
Yeah.
The flexes, Shocks and Dens. Shocks again. Shock and Den. These are the Mind Freak boys. This is the Mind Freak team. You got Luca on there too. Again,
Yeah.
Mind Freak I think is leaving COD, so I'm probably gonna say that's on the story. So you won't see Mind Freak in COD anymore. But that's
They are an Australian org, aren't they? Mind Freak.
Yeah,
He's
they're
Australian.
They're Australian. Yeah. So it sucks we don't get to see them we probably don't get to see them anymore. But again, they were. Imagine if they didn't have region lock in World War II. These players were really good. Dens and Shocks were like the duo. They were the best players on that team. They were probably one of the top. They were top players on the team. They didn't get recognized because they played on a team that didn't do good on Mind Freak. Mind Freak hasn't been really great in COD ever. Well, maybe a couple times, but
For a while.
that's the bit. Yeah, that's been the big weakness. Again, they it's just kind of where you see it. Shocks could have. I think Den's taken a big advantage. After I think Den's had a lot more motivation after you got drafted for Dylan before the first tournament in Fort Worth, and then he went back once Tommy decided to take a leave. Den's looked a lot better in a new role without the sub role. He looked like I think he was playing a main AR or maybe a flex. I think he was playing main AR at that time, but I'm gonna say a flex in this game. He looked a lot better. That's a great thing, kind of seeing from Dens. Picking it up even after getting dropped. After getting bench. So that's I think there's a lot potential. I think this duo, the Shocks and Dens duos, is gonna be coming back. That we get to see it now. He probably has a better supporting cast than what he had on Mind Freak World 2 or any other games. So that's a great thing about that. Another thing I really like about what was I trying to say? But the weakness is this is just like a bunch of ragdolls. This is not a team that has a lot of, again, besides a Mind Freak, you don't have a lot of chemistry in that team. This is Kiz and Brazzy did compete on E6 together, but I don't know. This is not the top. You don't have a superstar in this team.
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
you could
every
look at
team
Shocks
has a
maybe.
superstar.
I feel like Shocks, you know,
Again, we didn't
is a
see
good
him
player.
Kamisha much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player, but again, we didn't see much of Black Ops 4 because his team didn't make it to the Pro League, and also his team didn't make it to CDL finals. But they did win 2 open brackets, so yeah, that's a good news right there.
Yeah.
But again, the big thing is if you can have Phantoms be that. Phantoms do really good. This team could be a kind of an underdog pick, like a shocking team. But again, this is the weakness. I think just you don't know what you have in this roster. This is just a bunch of players who we just don't know what the hell we're dealing with. This is this is just like throw up.
It'd be good to see them if they do win any games. Actually, forget series. If they win any games, you know, that'd be good for them. You know, maybe boost confidence and maybe they'll be able to push on if they did. If that is the team.
Yeah, that's a big thing right there. So next one is gonna be Seattle.
Surge.
Seattle Surge. Enable Apathy as probably the subs. Slacked could be in a sub role too, but I'm gonna put him as flex right now. Karma as a flex and Octane as the main AR. What do you think about this roster?
Wow, that's what I'll start off with. Wow, this team it looks good. I think every person picked here for this team has been so. It's just wow. It's match made and everything really. I think the team, you know, really bonds together. I've seen in, you know, just watching them on Twitch and that, and just the way they speak to each other and that is just amazing. Now, like, you know, how bonded they are together. Not just one or two people, which you would expect as a, you know, Apathy and Enable of team before in the past. And you know, it's just insane how these are just bonded. Plus, then you have obviously your veterans. Enable, has been a veteran of COD, and then you have your big one. You know, Karma had 2 rings underneath his belt. You know, that's a big plus right there. Three, sorry, yeah, 3. I can't, yeah, not 2. Sorry,
Apathy
3.
has 2 rings, so you got
and then you got Apathy as well. You know, yeah, you've got a couple of people here. You've got a couple of the players here that are, you know, are really big in the scene. And they all do well at slaying, and they're all good. They're just all good. It's just looking good. The one person I will say might struggle this season is Octane. I've seen him in the past. You know, he's a good player, but sometimes it's just them little things that he makes mistakes on. Sometimes he just can't kill. Sometimes I feel like when he's on the flank watching the anchor and that, sometimes he can't kill anyone, and he just really kind of suffers when he doesn't. So that's probably the weakness for that team, I feel.
I was shocked you went Octane.
Yeah, but I was thinking Slacked as well, to be honest.
I'm not saying, well, again, he does slay, but I didn't know he can kind of go in depth with like how he kind of plays the game. Like he can slay, but he just sometimes there's a little area could fuck it up, like fuck up the team. I didn't really see it that much last year. Maybe it was different situations, but you know, maybe again, Black Ops 4 was a great year for Octane. I think it was, you know, just say the top main AR, overall, but you know, man, again, we have different opinions and everything, so.
I don't know. It's just because I feel like
again, this is a lot of veteran. Sorry, continue.
It's just because I feel like this team is really quick, and like, you know, raw slaying power is good. Because like he's kind of a slow AR, you know, I just don't sometimes, like, if the team plays at different tempos, so you have Octane playing slow but the other 4 are playing quick and, you know, getting in people's faces and that, I just don't see it clicking. So that's why I feel like if they wanted to win, Octane would have to slay. Yeah.
Again, I think Octane Black Sport looked like he was fast, but again, again, maybe like he looked like he was fast main AR. I think he was considered fast, but again, maybe I didn't know what we expected in World War II.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he's playing that speed there, but he's considered one of the best ARs. So maybe just make sure that everybody's fast. Make sure, like, I think the team's kind of pretty slow overall. But I think the strength of this roster is you have veterans all over the board. This is kind of the team with the most experience. You don't have a lot of youngsters. You have a lot of veterans who competed for 5 or more years. Probably the youngest of those players is Octane, who kind of blew up in who got a chance in AW. But again, this is a lot of veteran leadership. This is a lot of guys who are mature and have a team history. Again, they have been. I heard they've been doing really good in scrims lately. They've been clicking, so that's great news. I think. So that's kind of great thing. I think the weakness of this roster is we know how Apathy is. You know, he can play, but it takes him a while. As you know, he gets better as the game goes, and this is a game where we don't know how. This is job costly, and if he takes him a while to develop into that sub player, you know, they struggle a lot. Apathy isn't putting up the numbers. You know, he's not slaying, but you know, just seems to do good at the end of the year somehow. There could be a chance you could see one of the substitutes take the sparring spots. Again, there's substitutes got announced yesterday, Panda and Proto.
Yeah. I see
you know,
that.
maybe they have a chance, but you know, we gotta see how that goes. But if Apathy, again, this is where it's a lot more on the line. You have, you know, you got a job on the line. You can get released from your
Switched out,
contract. Yeah, so you have to have him kind of show up in the start of the year and make sure he does it consistently. Otherwise, I think this roster has it. Again, the big thing is just that veteran leadership and that maturity from all these players who have been experienced. Like every player's been experienced, so you know you got guys with five rings on here. Enable last
that's
year,
madness.
Enable, unfortunately, getting second place at champs 2 times in a row with Team Caliber and 100 Thieves. So again, they have a lot of champ experience. Octane too. I think, you know, you got champ experience, but again, maybe the weakness is you haven't really seen good champs players in the last 2 years. Octane struggled with Optic Gaming back in World War II. Again, that roster was like hell. Slack top 8 last 2 years. Hasn't been really top tier like final positions yet. Apathy and Karma, yeah, we're not gonna kind of talk about them, but Octane. Sorry, what player was gonna mention? Oh, I already kind of mentioned. Sorry.
Yeah.
Panda. Player I want to. I thought.
Yeah. Panda, I've heard a lot of praise, and I've seen a lot of praise. You know, everyone. You know, he looks like a person who's liked by many. So I feel like, you know, they always say, you know, keep up the hard work and that to him, and that I've seen a couple of times on Twitter. So I feel like this is this might be. The substitute looks good. I'm surprised that I won't, because I haven't really heard the Panda that much really. And when I was looking through Twitter and that, and everyone was saying, "Oh, congratulations" and all that, and you know, he looks like he might be a really big substitute for this team, and possibly even, you know, if Apathy, like you said, does kind of slump, he might take that role. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Last roster we're gonna be talking about is Toronto Ultra. I also forgot to mention all the ownership groups after Atlanta, but that's okay. Who owns them and all that, who's associated with them, but we don't have to worry about that right now. Metals and Looney as the sub, Lucky and Breck as the flexes, and Methods as the main AR. Again, Methods is, we're not talking about the Spanish one, we're talking about the American one. Or his name's Methods sick, I don't know. So
what do you think? I think Looney, you know, been around for a while. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you see him drop in his tempo, his momentum. Sometimes, you know, his game's gonna be a bit of a flop, and sometimes it costs the team. You know, he played for Rise at one point. He was 50-50 on that team, and you've seen him in the past with other teams as well. So, I'm gonna say straight up, weakness is probably gonna be Looney. You know, if he doesn't keep the tempo up and, you know, play to his best, then, you know, this team could fall, to be honest. What do you think? about it.
Well, again, this is not played. Again, we haven't. That's probably gonna be one that you probably haven't really heard of because again, Spanish players haven't been really growing in the scene back in World War II. I don't think this team really has it. I think again, this is kind of like Paris Legion, just a lot of guys mixed up into opinion. Again, this is a 10-man roster. We got Bance, Cammy, Classic, Mayhem, and Kleenex as the substitutes. I think Kleenex has a chance. You know, after what he did at Champs with Singularity, that was one of them. I think one of the best sub players. I think we seen at Champs. You know, what he did to Envy at that losers round game. That was on Arsenal Hardpoint. That was impressive. I like that moment. I watch that moment every time. Just like he's just dominant. I think he has a chance to blow up. Again, he's a new player too. He's a guy you never heard of until Champs.
Yeah.
So he has a chance. Cammy has been regards one subs, but we're gonna talk about. I think those two players have a chance of kind of being picked up. Mayhem too. I don't think Classic and Bance are gonna have a chance at starting roster or getting picked up game, but we don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not impressed with the Spanish players.
Yeah.
I think the strength. I think we're gonna talk about strength first. But I think that's when we kind of talk about weakness. I think the strength roster is you have again Looney is a kind of more of a veteran. Looney's a veteran. He's a communicator. He's smart. You know, he might not put the numbers that you want to expect from him, but again, that's not what he's meant to be. Brack is a play methods, really good main AR. Showed up more too, but again, he's been really disrespected overall, just based on his situations and all that. He's just like a really unfortunate player. Again, he gets dropped from Rise Nation, and then doesn't get a chance again. Optic, FaZe, you know, G2. You know, he just hasn't had luck on his side.
Yeah.
You know, Brack has got a, you know, Brack is a good slayer. We saw him in Black Ops 4 show up. You know, he's again new gun.
Yeah.
A guy who really impressed. I thought he'd probably join a different team, but you know, he didn't really. There's been a lot of criticism because I think from Temp once he said he kind of baits a lot, and that's how he gets most of his kills.
Yeah.
Like he just got a lot of kills from baiting. So I don't know what the case is there, but you know, I think he's a player who can really develop into something as kind of a flex role. I don't know. I think he's gonna be very consistent. I think very consistently up top. But again, we gotta see how the game works and all that. Being Black Ops 4 or something different.
I feel like the pros kind of say that a lot. You know, he baits kills and that. But I feel like that's just trading, really. I understand if it's pointless, you know, baits. But you know, there's obviously that trade. You know what I mean? Where you know, you push it, and then if you die, you know, your teammate gets that trade, and you know, it's worth it in the end run. If it's pushing towards a hard point or something like that. But if it's just pointless baits, then I don't feel like that's I agree. I think it's just pointless, basically, what it says.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be. I don't know. Maybe again. That's what Tom mentioned on Twitter, so I don't know if that's true or not, but I think just the Spanish players is just going to be the weakness. Meadows and Lucky, again, the team, you talk about Heretics, they make it a pro league, it's a big thing. Go, vamos!
Oh, yeah?
You know, the vamos chant went for a while, and after that, they did have good performance at Fort Worth in London, where, you know, they did get a top 6, but after that, the roster just went to hell. And I don't think, you know, that's the whole situation. It did not work well. Sucre, they were having issues. They couldn't find scrims. They weren't getting better. You know, they pick up Vortex. They didn't do that too much, and you know that went to hell. And I just again, those were Lucky and Metals. Those weren't players who were doing great. Well, they were consistent. They had 1 KDs, but they weren't like superstar status. They weren't. Again, maybe that was the start of your day. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello. Oh, sorry. Something happened, but
That's fine.
we haven't seen that. I'm just not impressed with Spanish players overall. Again, we don't know how it's gonna work with comms. There's gonna be issues and all that. I feel like one player that should have had a chance was Journey. Maybe. I think he felt like he had a lot of potential in him, but maybe have a chance to start Rust, but they never kind of invested in him. But again, maybe it's a different year. We'll see how Meadows and Lucky do. But I don't know. I'm just not impressed with this roster. This is just again a lot of ragtag players up in the mix. So we'll see.
A lot of teams have went for the ragtag teams, but sometimes the ragtag teams actually do work. I hope that I think it was Paris Legion who had one of the ragtag teams. I hope they do well. I think they do well as a ragtag team. There's possibilities, even though it does look like that you actually don't realise that actually not that much as what you think. Yeah, it actually might work, even though it doesn't look like it will work on paper.
Yeah, that's what I say about that. I don't know, it's just kind of my belief. So that's gonna be talking about all the rosters. We're gonna, since I'm kind of short on time, let's do this. Best and worst logos. Best logo, worst logo. We're just doing one of each.
I'm gonna say the Mutineer. I think it's called.
Yeah, is that best?
Mutineer. I think that's the best one, personally.
I'm going with
I like that logo.
Yeah, it's underrated. People say Search
I really
too.
do like that logo.
People say Search too.
Yeah.
That one doesn't look bad. Again, it looks like
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck it's called. I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think of that object. It's Triton. Was this like some?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's I forgot.
And worst, I'd say FaZe one.
I'm gonna go with a different one. I think it's Subliners.
Oh yeah, actually, I forgot about Subliners one. That could be.
I'm going with
FaZe
Subliners. Again, I think Subliners kind of copied from whatever New York NYXL and New York Excelsior kind of did with like just kind of lines and all that. I don't know, just logo doesn't make sense. It's just kind of a bunch of circles, but again, it's just very questionable. It doesn't really look pleasing to my eye. Best and worst team name.
Yeah. Best and worst.
Best team name.
I like Seattle Surge. Best team name. Seattle Surge. Worst. I don't know. What? How do you even pronounce? Is it RØKKR? RØKKR.
RØKKR.
How do you pronounce that?
RØKKR.
Yeah, I think that's the worst name because I just can't pronounce it. So I think that's the worst one.
Also got the Ramblers. I think I gotta go with Subliners. That one makes no sense. It's New York for both of them. I don't know. That one just does not make any sense.
New York Subliners.
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't impress me. Next one will be worst to best starting 5 rosters. We're gonna kind of make this a little more shortened. Since I'm kind of a little bit time strained right now, but top 3 worst rosters and top 3 best rosters.
The 3 worst would be all the rag teams. That's what I'm gonna say straight up. Just because I can't see it happening. I'm saying Dallas Empire, the 3 rag teams that were just didn't look like they worked on paper. I'm just gonna say that because.
Wait, which were?
Which were who were the 3 rag teams? Paris Legion. What was the other one?
You described
what were the 3 rag teams? Shocks and Dens, that team. I think that was. I don't know. It was.
Sorry. What's wrong with my mic? Oh, sorry. I don't have an issue with my mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Paris Legion and Shocks and Dens team. I don't know whether that's Paris Legion or.
Yeah, it's Paris. That's Paris.
Is that Paris? Yeah. It was an Abel's team. No, it wasn't an
That's
Abel's team.
Surge.
Yeah, Surge was okay. I forgot the two rag teams.
Actually, we just go with
Paris
the best.
Legion was definitely one.
You're probably gonna go with Ultra. I'm gonna do mine. I'll probably go with Ultra.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go with Ultra. And RØKKR. Oh, sorry, Guerrillas. That's my favorites.
Guerrillas.
Yeah, is that gonna kind of be same?
Who's on Guerrillas again?
Aches. That was Aches team.
Oh yeah.
I can't see him. Best starting roster. Best
the best starting roster.
Yeah.
Dallas Empire, all the way. Definitely, 100%.
And
then I would say, Clayster's team was Empire, weren't it? What was the other team? Yeah. No. Trying to think who else the other team was. Chicago Huntsmen. I'm just gonna throw them up there because I feel like that could be a team. And Karma's team as well.
So yeah, I'm probably going with the same for you. I don't think I'm making switch ups with that. I think maybe we can switch to Surge. Maybe in my opinion, I go Surge with Subliners.
I can see Surge's team. I don't know about Subliners.
You don't think?
But I'd definitely say Empire, Huntsman, and Karmas.
Yeah. Okay. Most MVP and most improved player.
MVP, who I think was from Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Most valuable player. I'm gonna say Karma purely because of the way he looks at the game and the way he goes about the game. Improved, I'm gonna say. Who would I say for improved?
Actually, I'll tell what you think about that. I got like Octane as my MVP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think just kind of how he did last year, and this is a game that kind of suits him. Most improved for me, I think it's gonna be an odd one. Asim.
Who you saying?
Mr. RØKKR's substitute.
Who was that? I don't know the name.
He played for FaZe last year. As this.
I don't know the name you said.
Sorry, Asim.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think he's a player.
Yeah, okay.
Can show up as a substitute, sub.
Yeah, you think he's the most improved, yeah?
I think he has a chance of it. I'm not. Again, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh, a chance too.
Yeah,
okay.
What do you got?
Based on the weeks of watching streaming and that, I was gonna say Mutex because he was doing well in S&D, but now because he's been dropped and that, I can't really say him. So I'm actually gonna go with Sensor. After watching his streams. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. Who's winning the inaugural season?
Most winning, did you say, yeah? This season?
Just wins the final championship. COD champs, if that's this.
Oh, who the team's going to be? Or who's
going to win it?
Dallas Empire.
Huntsmen.
Huntsmen, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
From the closing topic, from what we have seen from locals / the subliner open that happened a couple weeks ago, how can they improve competitive play?
What the commentators and all that, and the way it was. I think it was actually World War II when they would talk about the player and they would get statistics up, about the player and that. I didn't really see it that much in Black Ops 4, when they would talk about the player and that. The statistics would pop up of, how good they've been doing in the S&D and all that, but I didn't really see it that much in Black Ops 4. It was only
you need
until...
more pop-ups?
Yeah, I feel like there should be more pop-ups of like what players have been, how good players have been doing and that, all the KDs and all that.
Oh, that's interesting.
I feel like that should be an improvement.
I'm gonna go with kind of. This is gonna be odd. Switching down for CTF. If that comes
Okay.
into the mix,
I-
yeah, that's what I have to
That,
go with.
that
I can't. I don't know. Maybe Dom has potential. Again, we haven't seen that since Ghost. That has a lot of potential, but again, we'll see what
I actually
happens.
agree with you on that as well. That would be a good change for comp.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Definitely.
So thank you for joining my show. It took me a while to find a guest to do this. Somehow. I thought maybe people don't want to talk about rosters, but do you have any shouts to get before we end up the stream?
Shout out to Sodi GG and James Boy.
Okay. That's gonna be the end of the Game Tech show. Thank you guys for watching, and
Yeah.
bye.
Nice one for having me.
Welcome.